Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Rory with Roar Sports Media, and we're back today again with more NCAA college football, and we're gonna stay with my Hogs. But in the future, if you want me to cover your college team or your NFL team, please get with me so I can get with my team so that we can cover the content that you want. But if you could also please like, subscribe, all that stuff, it really helps out. And today we're gonna talk about Arkansas's pretty much bye week and getting healthy, and we could preview a little bit of A&M and get into some players that need to kick it in gear and do what I know that they're capable of. But first, the intro. Let's start off the show with getting into Arkansas and their bye week. So the main goal for Sam Pittman in this bye week was rest and relaxation, getting the boys the treatment that they needed in order to be the best selves that they could muster against A&M this upcoming Saturday. And by the way he talks about it, it sounds like they really needed to get healthy because pretty much they were running low on players. But I'm going to let Sam get into that here.
Help themselves when we were, had injuries. But our depth, honestly, guys, going into some of these games was, I didn't know if I might need to suit up, and that wouldn't be good. And so we had to get healthy. And we have done that 3 days of non-contact, basically. We've been in.
Sam Pittman's pretty much went into how he wants to handle this bye week and how he's pretty much letting his players get healthy. He details like how their schedule goes, and here's a little taste of that from Sam himself.
They have they have practice today, and then they have morning lift Friday. And then they have obviously academic obligations. And then after that, they're completely off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we come back from 6 to 8. Sunday night is a little bit of academics from 6 to 7 for some of the team, and then from 6 to 8 is our COVID test.
In my opinion, Sam Pittman made the right choice in letting his players rest and recuperate from their injuries on this bye week. Him letting his players relax because it's been a very tense 3 weeks for the Arkansas Razorbacks because with all the roller coaster of winning and losing on a bullcrap call Auburn, but letting them relax, get their minds chilled out, and letting their bodies recuperate was probably the best move. And it's helping with players come back from their injuries like Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan with that one arm, even though he played incredible with that one arm. Could you imagine what he could do it too? Monteric Brown, who we lost against Mississippi State on that incredible tackle for a loss, but it hurt him. It hurt his neck, I believe it was his neck. But him coming back is also going to help out with the Arkansas secondary and bolstering that. Back there with Hudson Clark and Jalen Catalon and all those guys. It's just helping out with the general health of the team, and I'm all for it. Him letting his team rest just shows you that he cares for his players, especially health-wise. I get it, W's are huge, but having players to get those dubs is way more helpful. Staying with being helpful for the Razorbacks, there are two players that I really want to key in on, and that would be Rakeem Boyd and Trey Knox. These two players were very productive last year, especially when Trey Knox was a rookie, and Rakeem Boyd was his first year from basically coming from a Last Chance U, Independence University. So Rakeem Boyd was an incredible running back last year on a very bleak Razorback team. He was probably one of the only bright spots the entire year last year for the Razorbacks. Let's get into some of his stats from last year and ways I think that he's going to bounce back here with Sam Pittman. So Rakeem Boyd's stats from last year in 2019 were 184 attempts for 1,133 yards, which is very good behind a porous and not very well coached up offensive line, and pretty much like just terrible offensive play calling. Rakeem Boyd was, like I said, the only bright spot on the Arkansas Razorback offense, besides flashes from Trey Knox and Traylon Burks. Just terrible quarterback play, and he was pretty much the engine for the offense of what you would call an offense from last year. Rakeem is a very high caliber running back, but he got banged up in the early part of the year, and he came back last week during the Ole Miss game, but he wasn't really the Rakeem that we knew from old. He was still, you could tell he's still a little banged up. So this bye week is really going to help him recover and recuperate, and hopefully he can have a big game against Texas A&M because he showed out well against them last year. Now, of course, it's a different A&M team, but hopefully Rakeem can make a bounce back because we all know what he's capable of. And for the other end of the spectrum, there's Trey Knox, who, you know what, has not been a huge target for Felipe Franks this year, but for last year, he had a real connection with Nick Starkel. So I think that Felipe Franks is a better quarterback than Nick Starkel, but you know what? With receivers and quarterbacks, you need connection, and hopefully Trey Knox can find that with Felipe Franks. Let's get into some of Trey's stats from last year and, ways that I think that he can improve this year with Felipe. Here are some of Trey Knox's stats from last year in 2019 and some from this year. So last year he had 28 receptions for 385 yards. He averaged about 13.8 yards a reception, which is pretty crazy, which means that, intermediate balls are his to get. Trey Knox is a very big-bodied wide receiver. He's not necessarily the fastest or the quickest, but he's a very Mike Williams from Clemson type receiver where it's pretty much, even when he's not open, he's open because he can go up and get the ball and snatch it. He has very, very good hands, but what he lacks is the speed and the separation skills. But he can be useful in the Arkansas Razorback offense for sure. I mean, we have faster guys like Davion Warren, Mike Woods, and Traylon Burks to open up the field. And, Trey Knox doesn't have to get huge amounts of separation because he can turn 50-50 balls into like 70-30 balls. Felipe Franks just has to trust him a little bit more for Trey to eat, His long was 49 yards last year, and then 3 touchdowns, which is not incredible, but on a bad offense, like we all knew, Chad Morris's offense last year was horrible. But, not bad. It was productive, and you'd expect him to take a bigger step in year 2. This year he has 4 receptions for 33 yards and a long of 12, which is not incredible, especially with going through 4 games. And going to an A&M, that's a good defense. So hopefully Trey can make a bounce back. Right now he's not starting, but he's in the lineup. I believe Traylon Burks and Davion Warren are the ones starting right now, and then Mike Woods is in their mix also for the top 3. But Trey, he's right there, and hopefully he can make a comeback. So I want to do a quick breakdown of the Aggies and the Razorbacks playing down at Kyle Field in College Station. So I think the biggest threat for the Razorbacks having to face is their running back, Isaiah Spiller. He is an absolute beast. He has quick twitch, and he knows how to get to the end zone. He is a very fast player and plays extremely hard. He runs through contact, and he is probably one of the better backs in the SEC. He is definitely in the top 3 more than likely. Let's get into some of his stats real fast. So, Isaiah. So last year he had 174 attempts for 946 yards and 10 touchdowns. And that's crazy because I believe he was a freshman last year. And that's great production from a freshman, man. That is absolutely balling. And, that's crazy. And the Hogs are going to have to probably play, probably have to commit to stopping the run with 4 down linemen in this game. So the 4-2-5 is going to have to come into effect because they've been rushing the passer with 3 down linemen and a blitzing linebacker every now and then. So I think in this game they're going to have to play 4 down linemen in order to plug the gaps and let the linebackers work because this guy is a monster. And not only that, they are returning their quarterback, Kellen Mond. for his senior year. And this guy has given Arkansas fits. He has not lost against Arkansas since was a freshman. And, wasn't the prettiest game when he came in against Arkansas, but, he's always found the dub. His stats have been crazy ever since he's got there, His first year as a freshman only had 8 pass TDs, but his sophomore and junior years both above 20 touchdowns. And easily above, his sophomore year was crazy. 3,107 yards, and his junior year is 2,897 yards. So Kellen's a crazy good quarterback, and Sam Pittman was making a joke as how feels like he's been there forever, which he kind of does, 2017 it feels like it was forever ago, and this is when Kellen made his start. So, he's also a dual threat. He can run the ball back. He can run the ball. So he's a dual threat in the truest sense of the word. The Hogs are going to have their hands full with this. And not only that, probably the biggest factor here is the A&M's offensive line. They have 4 returning starters in Carson Green, Kenyon Green, Jared Hawker, and Dan Moore Jr. So, and then, they have a crazy amount of talent, as their backups. So the Hogs are going to have their hands full when they go down to College Station. And, hopefully Barry Odom has them figured out in this bye week, because they had 2 weeks to, try and dissect the Aggies a little bit more than other teams. So hopefully the Hogs can figure it out. Guys, I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of the Hogs bye week and their plan to rest their Razorbacks, and my small little preview of the Razorback versus Aggies down at College Station. I know it was short, but I hope to have another YouTuber come on and we'll talk a little more Razorbacks and Aggies later on in the week. But yet again, I appreciate you liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell. It all helps out the channel grow. And yet again, welcome to the Roar. Peace. Boom.